Hello, hi. Okay, so I decided to do a top 25, and yep, that's the video. Enjoy. Number 25 is actually a deceased roller coaster, but I really like it. It is Vortex at Kings Island. This was removed back in 2020 of October. I really like the ride. I think it's very enjoyable. Some think it's pretty rough, and it was taken out because it simply reached the end of surface life. When it opened, it was the tallest roller coaster in the world, and it also was the first to have 6 inversions. I really like the ride experience because it's a little mix of everything, but unfortunately its time has come and it's gone now. If I were to ride it again, I'd give it an 8.8 out of 10. Number 24, the Racer at Kings Island. A pretty original coaster, actually. It was one of the first. And well, you're probably going to see a lot of Kings Island roller coasters on this list because Kings Island is my home park. But yeah, the race is a really great time. It recently got a retrack, so it's very smooth. It's definitely one of the older rides in the park, but it's nothing too big. It's close enough to feel sort of like Gemini, but with an entirely new experience. It's very fun, and if you get the chance, you should definitely go ride it. If I were to ride it again, I would give it a 8.8 out of 10. Number 23, West Coast Racers. This was a very interesting ride. Obviously, it was my first Morbius. Sorry. No, wait, no, sorry, Mobius coaster. No, I got tripped up on that. But it was very fun. The strats were kind of okay. It was pretty chaotic getting in on it, both sides, but the ride experience itself was very enjoyable. I was sitting next to my sister, and she's just not fond of launches, so it was very fun to be like, oh, hey, it's about to launch. Go, and nothing happened, and then okay, never mind. We got a couple more. It was fun. It's just an enjoyable experience. So if you get the chance, go ahead and head out here. Great ride. If I could ride it again, I would give it a 9.1 out of 10. Number 22. And of course, when it comes to Kings Island, you cannot talk about Kings Island without talking about the Beast. The Beast is the longest wooden coaster in the world, and it is, my God, fantastic, especially at night. It is not as good as the Voyage, which will obviously pop up later, but my God, does this thing pack a punch. It slows down at some points, which is why the Voyage is better, but when it does come, it packs a punch. And if it was just like this all around, it would have totally beat the Voyage, but it doesn't. But as you can see in front of you, you're going over the first lift, which you can see the second lift into the massive double helix. It just goes so far back out there into the woods. You don't even feel like you're in the park anymore. It's such a bizarre experience and something that you definitely got to try on either Voyage or the Beast sometime. And with that further ado, sorry, not with that further ado, sorry, with that through, I would rate this a 9.3 out of 10. That's right, we're going up 2 marks. And number 21 is Goliath. Look, I hate putting an overused coaster name on here as much as you do, but it's a good ride. Best out of the Goliaths, if I'm being honest. This was fantastic when I first rode it. It was my second ARMS Steel Vengeance. Obviously, that does not take it over, but it was just a really great ride. The airtime was insane, and I was blessedly thrown away by this thing. RMC did a great job with this, and I'm glad it was at Six Flags Great America. Great replacement for Iron Wolf. Out of 10, I would rate this thing 9.3. Number 20, Gatekeeper. And there's a lot to say about this ride. It's the first wing coaster on this list. Definitely a big one. It definitely is very, very, very interesting. I haven't got to ride too many wing coasters, but this one definitely makes a good impression, along with X-Light and a couple others. Yeah, no, this one strikes me good. The keyholes are fantastic. The G-zip holes. My only complaint would be the mid-course breaker in the end and the helix. I feel like they could get more creative than that. They could have done a lot more with the finale, but I don't really complain that much about helixes and all that. I really just enjoy the ride experience. So, out of a sorry, not out of a 9. I just keep tripping up this video. Out of 10, I would rate this 9.3. Number 19, we're finally out of the 20s, and what better way to celebrate it than with Millennium Force? This ride is a lot of things, but one thing it's not is bad. This thing really is good. Before anybody asks, no, Dragster is not on my top 25 list. So yes, I do think Millennium Force, in terms of ride experience, is the second best ride at Cedar Point. Uh, actually, sorry, no, I messed that up. Actually, there's a couple other Cedar Point rides in here. But my point in case is, it's a really good ride. Sure, it's super overrated by the Golden Ticket Awards. It's nowhere near the best coaster in the world, but it's definitely up there. And the lift is beautiful. It's got a great view from the top of the hill, and it's got nice elements. It's really just a pleasant ride for a coaster enthusiast like me, and that's why I am rated it at 9.4. Number 18 is actually my other deceased roller coaster on this list, also from Kings Island. This Firehawk. Firehawk is a deceased ride that would later, nowadays, be replaced by Orion, the Giga Coaster, which, yes, in my opinion, has been a Millennium Force, so yes, you will see it on this list. Firehawk was a really good ride, though, and I was really sad when it went. Unlike the B&M Flyers, this one was by Vacoma, called the Flying Dutchman. It would lay down backwards instead of upwards, and then roll you out the station backwards. And then at the top of the hill, roll you underside and then start flying. And then, of course, there's that loop where it would twist you again and do this really cool thing where you could like sit upward a bit. It was cool, but you know, it's gone now, and it's going to sorely be missed. Tons of Easter eggs in Orion's queue, along with the Vortex, and Salute. When I did ride this, when it was still there, if I were to ride it again, I would rate it a 9.5. Number 17 is actually another scary bird, right? I guess, whatever. It's Thunderbird. Thunderbird is an interesting ride. Now, I already warned you that would be more wing coasters on this list, but this one's a bit different. It's the only launched one. Actually, only launched B&M until supposedly 2022 or 2023 when the surf coaster is unleashed at SeaWorld, the presumed area it's going. Uh, this ride, it was interesting. It was really good though, really great concept. The Voyage and Thunderbird were both fantastic rides at Holiday World, and that's why Holiday World is actually my second favorite park. If I were to ride this again, I would give it a 9.5. Number 16, Nitro. Now, this is a B&M Hyper. Definitely not the best. I got a couple more on here, but it definitely makes it up there in those ranks. B&M Hypers in general are just really good. This is one of the weaker ones, but that does not mean that it is not strong. B&M Hyper in general is a strong term. This thing definitely works because I rode Wild Mouse 3 times because the Dark Knight ride to be specific. A bit too many times and then Batman the Ride. And then I stupidly put my hands up on the back helix. I'm going to circle it right there. And, well, after I got off the ride, let's just say I ate too much pizza. If I were to ride it again, I would give it a 9.5. Number 15. The Banshee. Now, the Banshee is an interesting ride. This was here the first time I came to Kings Island, but it was new. It was 2015, and they were still hyping it up a lot. And, well, although Shivering Timbers at Michigan Adventure, really got me starting into it, Banshee is the one that pushed me over the ledge. Originally, when I first rode it, my mom wanted me to ride it, and then it rained, and it hurt, a lot, because it's a fast coaster. But then I was encouraged to ride it again, and I really enjoyed it, and that got me into coasters. So you can actually credit this ride with giving me my love of coasters, but obviously there are some above it. And to put it simply, it's a great ride. It's just amazing theming. The roar at the top of the lift hill, if you don't know, there's a banshee scream. The When you go through the loop on the lift hill, that's cool to look at. The queue's really well aligned, and it's in the plot of a previously big coaster known as Son of Beast. It's got a great neighbor of the bat. And sometimes when you're back there behind it, 1 second you're in civilization, the next you're in the back of the woods. If I were to give it a rating, I would give it a 9.5. Number 14, the Diamondback. The Diamondback is another B&M hyper, just like Nitro we were talking about earlier. These are 3 consecutive B&Ms. Diamondback is an airtime filled cacophony of madness. I guess I should down it a little bit. I guess it's the step between regular, like average throw, and big throw. Like, from example, Mystic Timbers to Orion. That kind of sits right in the middle there. But it's a great ride. Lots of airtime. It's got this one part at the end where it dips over the water, and it's got these chutes on the back of it, and then it shoots up the water like a rooster tail. Super cool because when you sit in the back, you actually feel some of the mist. You get that hydration on the last hot day. It's a very creative coaster, and I love it with all my heart. It's at Kings Island, so you know, maybe a little biased, but whatever. If I had to ride it again, I would give it a 9.6. 13, Max Force. And just like this coaster's layout, there's not much to say about this. Really, all I can really say about it with complete confidence is that it's short and it's sweet. It's a nice pop of air like that, nice quick inversions, and then it's right back into the brake run 15 seconds later. It's kind of like Dragster, but if it was shortened. I mean, its acceleration is like faster than Dragster, so I mean, it could be, but it's not. It takes the inversion aspect of it, and it does a couple of rolls, and then back down. There's this twist you see here, and then it goes up into a half loop, and then right into the brake run. And yeah, just as I said, short and sweet. If I were to ride it again, I would give it a 9.6. Number 12. All I have to say about this is the name says it all. Candemonium is the world's sweetest coaster. It's just so fantastic. It's got great airtime. It zips through that backwoods layout, and then with that helix and the 90-degree bank right into the finale, that is probably one of the best finales on a coaster ever, if not the best finale on a roller coaster. It's got the beautiful shell clamp restraints that make it so much fun. Easy, free, lean over as you look down on the Hershey Kisses fountain. And it just works so well. I would definitely go back and ride this anytime if I could. Which I don't, but, if I could, I would. If I were to rate this out of 10, I would rate it a 9.6. Number 11. Wicked Twister. Now, Andrew knows all about this ride. This was his favorite ride before it was eventually removed last year. Actually, no, not last year. This year in September, which was a very much heartbreaker. I have my Wicked Twister mug to commemorate it. It was actually a good coaster despite what people say. I personally enjoyed it very, very, very much. I'm not one to get over nausea. You can add this to, I think, number 3 deceased coaster on this list. And yeah, no, it was a very simple ride, very exciting. Didn't take up a big footprint, but it looks like they're opening up some space to build a new roller coaster. I really hope that that's a good wooden roller coaster that would really fit at Cedar Point. But we're not here to talk about the future. We're here to talk about Wicked Twister. So if I were to ride again, what would I rate it? I would rate it a 9.7. And that's it. We're in the top 10. And what better way to start with another Cedar coaster? Maverick. Maverick is personally my brother's favorite roller coaster, and he's completely entitled to that because, I mean, it's completely reasonable. There's a reason this coaster is acclaimed. This thing is fantastic. It's so whippy. In fact, they were going to add a hardline roll, but that part would have pulled too many G's that it would have killed people, so they couldn't do it. So you can add this to a high G force list. This thing is insane, along with the Beyond vertical drop there at the beginning. It is just a fantastic ride. And yeah, no, Maverick is fantastic. I love it very much. Very snappy, exactly what I love to see in a roller coaster. And if I were to ride it again today, and I was supposed to, but it was closed when I got there, and it opens later in the day, but we were already gone by then. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Again, I'm going on a tangent. What would I rate it out of 10? And that is a 9.7. Yeah, 9.7. Number 9. Full Throttle. And I know what most of the coaster enthusiasts out here are saying right now. Yeah, no, to most of them, full throttle isn't as striking. I didn't expect it to be striking too, but like most things, I was told down about it that the loop didn't provide as much airtime. The drop wasn't as snappy, and the launch was kind of meh. But I can guarantee anybody coming in, they fixed that problem because I went there this summer, rode it for the first time, and I got a solid 4.5 seconds of airtime, almost five. Just sorry, not airtime, hang time. Like I was blown away. I was like, wow, that was so much. I think I've never felt that before, and it was beautiful. And then I snapped right into the curve around. That S bend was very cool, and then I rolled right into the station, and they started playing that song. I was launched out backwards, and I think me and Kale were near the back, so we actually got to felt that, which was cool. And they say, "Oh, the drop sucks because there's brakes on it." Snappy wrong. I came down that, and yes, it hit me hard, but because of how I was positioned, I was thrown forward, and I got to like ejector air time, and it was super cool. So if you get the chance, come ride it. What would I rate it out of 10? I would rate it a 9.7. Number 8, Flight of Fear. Now, there isn't much to say other than this ride, than other than it's freaking insane. That launch in is super fast, and as you can see, it's all in this very small octagonal box, and it just packed together. Like I don't even know. I haven't tested it because I don't want to die, but I'm pretty sure if you put your hands up, you wouldn't have them anymore. But if you have tried it and it's okay, please tell me because then I will do it and probably die. But man, this thing pulls a great G. It's got the lap darts, it's got the airtime and all that, and the inversions are great. And my God, it does not look like this when it's actual riding. It's dark and the lights are off and it's green. So what would I rate it out of 10? I would rate it a 9.8. Number 7, Fahrenheit. Now, a lot of people might be shocked by this answer because pandemonium and this being in the same park. Personally, I thought it was better. I was pleasantly surprised by the experience. Something you should know is most of these coasters that you think are shocking are up here because I was told down about them and then they turned out to be fantastic rides. Now, usually, if I had been told they were fantastic, maybe not. But for me personally, I had a better ride experience. So that's why it's up there. And I got to rewrite it twice. The queue of Fahrenheit is where Andrew's first video is. So that's cool. But if I had to rate it out of 10, I would rate it a 9.9. Number 6, El Toro. Now, everybody can agree El Toro is a really good ride. Some agree that it's above this, some agree that it's below it. I agree, myself, that it's number 6 because this is just a fantastic ride. It's an intimate prefabricated roller coaster, and it's a very steep drop, and it just whips you back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when we went there, it was rainy, and I don't mind rain because it immediately went away. So we got to cycle this thing and just stay in the cars 3 times, and I got a really good feel for the ride. And I know that it's got to stay out of my top 5, but it's got to be in my top 10, and it's better than all these other ones. So, logically speaking, it's my number 6. I really like it. Out of 10, a 9.9. And that's going to wrap up the first 20 as we move into our top 5. Number 5, Steel Vengeance. And my placing might shock people, not because it's high, but because it's actually low. I don't know, I've just ridden Steel Vengeance so many times, and there's so many unique ride experiences. Maybe when I ride more RMCs, I'll understand it more. But for right now, Steel Vengeance is actually going to sit at my number 5, just barely falling out of it. And most people would put this at 3, 2, or even their number 1. Now, there's no doubt about it. Steel Vengeance is the number 1 coaster in the world. But personally, in my opinion, it's number 5. And that puts it right behind number 4, which I'll explain after I say out of 10, I rate it a 10. Number 4, The Voyage. And I'm actually going to let my reaction after the ride explain itself. What the fudge? What the fudge, Andrew? What the fudge? What the fudge? What the fudge? And there goes our train. There goes our train. Right now. What the fudge? What the holy fudge? That was freaking amazing. Yeah, it's pretty much awesome. Freaking awesome. Enough to make me say what the fudge. But I say that a lot, so I mean I get but to put it honestly, this thing is everything the Beast isn't. I brought up the Beast and I brought up the Voyage, and I'd say they aren't even comparable. This thing, the Beast cowers in its cave compared to the Voyage. This thing is massive, and I love the Beast so much, but this just outmoneys it in every way. This is the perfect wooden coaster, and for that, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Number 3, Orion. What to say about this one? Uh, nothing much. Sorry, not nothing much. Nothing short of amazing. Yes, all you coaster nerds out there, I put this over Voyage, and that means a lot. Orion is intentionally small to try and not set up Millennium Force, but they failed at that. Because Orion is a very rewritable ride, and I've ridden it 4 times and 2 times that I've been to Kings Island in the park. One night ride, actually 2 night rides, 2 day rides, and both of them are fantastic. Back row, front row, night ride, it's all fantastic, and the elements just zoom and it's like flying. From what I hear, Fury 325 subscribed. Description wise, this is mini Fury 325. Like it's so great, and it's just so fantastic, and it puts the awe in awesome, and that's really good. 10 out of 10. Number 2 is ironically X2. Now, this image could speak for itself, but I'm going to speak anyway. Any coaster enthusiast who rides this knows exactly what I'm going to say. This thing is nothing short, but just fantastic. Like, it is wow, wow. The seats, if you don't know what it is, it's pretty much a gatekeeper form, but the seats face backwards and spin. The one thing I don't like about it is the 88.9-degree drop. You couldn't make it vertical for me. Please add it onto my vertical drop coasters, but nope, I can't. But that's not really a big deal because the thing blew me away. I have a reaction, but I haven't downloaded it quite yet onto this PC. But so I would totally show it in this video. But this coaster is just fantastic. All the spinning and all that, the pyrotechnics, fantastic. Although some people might disagree with me, I stand by that. 10 out of 10. And finally, we've made it to our number 1 roller coaster. And this roller coaster is actually going to shock a lot of people. But our number 1 roller coaster is Twisted Colossus. Okay. Coaster nerds, hear me out. Okay, I rode it the first time, and it was actually my mom's first RMC, and she giggled like a baby, which was really fun to watch. That made that experience so immersive. But then the second time, my second ride, and I only got 2, was a duel. And now you can kind of see where I'm getting this from. So, for the people who don't know, in order to have this racing coaster duel, you need to hit an exact 30-second dispatch, which I got on my second ride, and I was blown away. Like, it was almost an exact duel, like by like a couple of feet. And it was like so cool. It was like the high five was perfect, everything was fantastic, and I just loved it so much. And the Mobius coaster aspect makes it so much all the much better. And the reason I would say coaster nerds hear me out is because of well, Steel Vengeance. Some people consider this the second best RMC, but I'm here to break it down. It's number 1. And that's gonna do it for I guess this episode. That was my top 25. If you agree with some of it, if you disagreed, just let me know. And of course, as always, please sub.